Okay, we do have a member of the public who would like to speak to us on this, so if the captain would like to have a seat. We'll call on Dave Janae.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's
Welcome.
been a long trip. In 1994, I stood in the lobby of the Doubletree Hotel and had this conversation with then Attorney General Dan Lundgren. And you know what we were talking about then? Giving these officers access to this information in their patrol cars. No single class or group of people presents the risk to public safety to the citizens and the families of the state of California than that high-risk group that you're talking about. Second group, the serious offenders, followed by parolees. 70% who fail. And we are victimized every hour on the hour. As I was coming into council listening to the radio for Sector 3, we're pursuing another potential parolee at large. I know you probably don't have the authority to do it. I'm surprised we're here. I'm glad we're here. We vest in our police chief the discretion that his training and professionalism and the great leadership he's demonstrated since he became the chief of our city. And I would beg you, give him the authority today to put the parolees, the wanted criminal felons victimizing our citizens who have warrants issued for their arrest. You've seen no evidence from any quarter in this state that publishing the mugshot of a wanted parolee who stands a 70% chance to victimize one of our citizens shouldn't have his mugshot all over the place. We used to see him in the post office, remember? Ms. Sheedy, Mr. Cohn, Mr. Trethway, did you look at the pen map? I've been looking at that pen map for 15 years, folks. I brought that pin map into you 7 or 8 years ago. The first guy to put it on the internet, believe it or not, did it in 1999, May 29th. Another anniversary for me. The Attorney General said there's no reason why we can't do it. To answer the question why some cities, big cities, aren't there, the reason is that you'll find them in the county sites. I provided the chief with a list about a month ago. As we just did a real quick cursory search, I want to leave you with a thought, because I think it's important to follow the chief's recommendation, not only here, but to look at AB 488. I've been through about 6 generations of the bill that's now chaptered and sitting on the governor's desk. It doesn't go quite far enough, but it goes even further than the steps that you're taking today. And it's an important piece of legislation for California because it's been a long fight. Before the Public Safety Committee of the House or the state legislature, I've said on more than one occasion, sometimes in our quest to be humanitarians, we take our legal advice from rather unusual quarters. We've lived in an era from the 60s that said better that one innocent man go free, or better that 10 guilty go free, that we convict one innocent. Don't go to the children who've been victimized, their families who will live with the legacy of those crimes, of those 10 guilty we might have set free. The legacy of this bill, of Megan's Law, and all of the red flags that said people are going to be brutalized, they're going to be victimized if you put their picture, none of it has materialized. So please, don't take your counsel from those who talk about invasion of privacy when it's not their children's privacy that's invaded. In this case, the ACLU is wrong. The state of California is right. Chief Nahara is right. And please, whatever you do, allow him to take the next step with the next highest risk our citizens face. And that's parolees who are wanted for the crimes that they committed when they were given a chance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Janae. Mr. Thomas?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Fargo, members of the council. With respect to the staff report that's before you, I support the chief's recommendation. With respect to the parolee issue, I would encourage you to allow your staff, the city attorney and the police chief, to work on that issue to bring back necessary issues for policy consideration as well as legal issues, and not take action in terms of that issue that's not before you today.
Okay, well, that issue isn't before us today, so unless we want to ask our chief to continue to work with the city attorney. We do have a resolution which would allow us to move forward to this next step, allow our chief to move forward with the police department's website, posting information that's described in the staff report. And I would urge the council that I do think we need to have a resolution that's really clear for the public record. So if whoever makes the motion could include not necessarily redrafting today, but direction to prepare a draft which reflects the staff report and the resolution. I think that would be most appropriate at this point. Ms. Hammond, thank you for that motion. No, did you want a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Yee. We have a motion and a second. Mr. Cohen, you're next.
Yeah, would it be sufficient just to attach, since the report's not that long, to attach the report to the resolution, or?
We could do that.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, we could
I
just say.
think the resolution, the report
We could
is
just say
succinct
in the
enough and
attached
clear
staff
enough.
report.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Because it is clear enough, I think.
That would be fine.
Yeah, and that way we can get that out as soon
Yeah.
as possible. So if.
That would be
Okay.
fine.
And then I did want to ask how soon we could expect a report back on the parolee issue after having worked issues out with city attorney and actually give us a recommendation either to explain what you believe we can do and cannot do and
I think
why.
part of that is probably based on what the governor chooses to sign or doesn't choose to sign in the legislation that's over there right now on his desk, I'm assuming.
I don't believe the current legislation does not cover parolees.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
a side of that legislation. We're having ongoing discussions with the city attorney's office, so I'd like to do this, come to some resolution as soon as possible. I don't know that I can give you an exact date.
Would it be reasonable to expect that report back before our council break? Or actually better, let me rephrase it, before Mr. Yee and Mr. Jones leave in November, so that we have the same council that can address that issue when it,
Yeah, there will
at least, I mean, either way, to at least explain why we can or cannot do something, or what we can do, or what, under what circumstances.
I would anticipate we'll provide our advice to the police chief and staff within the next 30 days,
Okay.
and perhaps less, but I'd like to reserve 30 days just
Sure.
because Mr. Jackson's out of the country right now, and he's going to want to.
So, in fact, what I'm suggesting then would give you not quite 90. It would give you, prior
Why don't we
to.
just get a report back by then, we can,
Yeah.
maybe we'll be able to take action, and maybe we won't.
Should be no problem from my perspective.
Okay, so that, I guess that doesn't need to be part of the motion itself, as long as that direction is
So it's
understood.
clearly on it's on his to-do list, I can tell, he's working on it. So.
All right, thank you.
But it's a good reminder. Okay, any other comments or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, thank you very much.